Hi everyone, it's Jason Alberino. Welcome to today's webinar, Beyond the Dashboard, Integrating Network Monitoring with Your IT Ecosystem. Quick introductions. I'm a Principal Product Manager at Progress. I've worked with WhatsUp Gold and in the network monitoring space for over 20 years now. And I'm joined today by Brian Phillips, and I'll let him introduce himself more when I turn it over to him for his portion of the webinar today. The quick agenda today is we're going to look at a PowerShell module for WhatsUp Gold that interacts with the REST API and some native and custom integrations directly built into WhatsUp Gold, as well as a custom integration built by Brian called NetBox-WUG Sync for automating asset management. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the demonstrations. We have a lot of content to cover, so we want to make sure to leave time for questions and answers at the end. Please feel free to use the Q&A panel throughout the webinar if any questions arise. We do plan to answer all of the questions at the end. Okay, so you should see my screen now with the PowerShell gallery pulled up, and this is the WhatsUp Gold PS PowerShell module that I built back in 2023 and have been maintaining ever since. It's available on PowerShell Gallery, so you could quickly and easily install it. If you're looking to learn more about the module, how it was built, there is a post on my personal blog, wug.ninja, talking about everything, including some screenshots of the conversations I had with GPT along the way. So today we're going to cover some of the examples here. As you'll note on the GitHub, there are quite a few different examples available to you, and feel free to submit pull requests for any issues you encounter, or if you want to add some missing API endpoints. Today in the example, you'll see I have a WhatsUp Gold installed here, and there's nothing discovered on this environment, and there's nothing monitored on this environment. Really what we're going to do is make the API call in the background that's equivalent to right-clicking in the interface and saying new device. And you'll see you specify a single IP address and then various other options along the way. What this will do is actually immediately discover a device and then add it to monitoring in that whatever specific device group was clicked within. So before I get into the example, I'll point out the Swagger API. So if you go to your WhatsUp Gold's URL and then port 9644/Swagger, you should get to this interface that allows you to authenticate and also run API commands or learn about API commands. And this is where I came to for a lot of the PowerShell module creation is just referencing the guidance within here. But you'll see, just for example, if you're authenticated, I could say try it now, and it immediately runs that query and gives you a curl command you could potentially run to use it later on. That said, we're going to get right into the example here. So to get started, we have to actually install the PowerShell module. So this is a fresh system. I'm going to go ahead and run that command, install module, name WhatsUp Gold PS. It will prompt me with a security warning since I have not trusted the public PowerShell repository here. So I'll just say, yes, I do trust PS Gallery. And that will install the module straight away. Once it's done installing, you should be able to import the module using import module WhatsUp Gold PS, and then you could use get module to verify it actually loaded the latest version and the module is actually present. So now that the module is present on the system, I could run my sample script you see in the background here, and I'll run you through it really quick. Basically, it will import the module if it has to. Then it's going to prompt for credential, in this case the username admin. I hard-coded the server name or IP, which is the system on here in the background. And then it's going to run connect WUG server. This is going to use that IP address or host name and credential, ignore those SSL errors, and obtain an authorization token. Once it has that authorization token, it could run the other commands within the module, such as add WUG device down here. And that's what this is going to end up doing, is reading a CSV file that I have loaded here. And you see it's just a few addresses, but it could be any amount of addresses you choose. This is just for sample's sake. And then it's going to run that command and tell me the output. So I'll go ahead and run the script. It's going to prompt me for the password as mentioned. I give it the password and it gives me an authorization token. It reads the CSV and tells me it's discovering the devices now. So in the background, what happened is, you'll see in my scan history, we've actually kicked off a discovery. It's already found 6 of those devices. It's going to keep going and try and discover more about those devices. While we're waiting on that, we'll check out a different sample here where I'm going to disconnect from that WhatsUp Gold server where I just connected to and connect to a different one. I need a different username and password. And then I'm going to tell it, well, tell me every single WhatsUp Gold device on the system, but only the ones where it has greater than 0 active monitors down. And then select the first 100 of those and give me the device state change report, but only if the state name matches down. So you see how you can get very specific with the data you're pulling back from the API, and I'll go ahead and run this now. It's going to prompt me for the password. I'll go ahead and put in the password, and now I've connected to this other WhatsUp Gold server. And some of these reports can be pretty lengthy, right? To get the whole list of devices from the system, there's over 300 devices. And then I whittle it down to just the ones that have, some active monitors down. You see there's paging in the background here, but we're only looking at 79 devices, but I'm looking at the state change timeline report for each one of those individual devices, and then also checking if that matches the state down, and you see all of the information coming back to me. But you can see how this information could be useful for integration to other tools, other systems as part of your IT ecosystem. So while we continue to wait here, I'm going to again disconnect from this WUG server and then connect over to that existing one over here with this command. And now that I'm connected there, I can show you there's also add WUG device template, which works in a little bit different way. It doesn't actually do the discovery aspect. It basically allows you to skip the discovery aspect, but that means it will be added on nearly instantaneously. I can just say a display name and then an address, and I'll just give it a bogus address. And that will actually instantaneously add the device. You can see it tells me what the device ID is immediately here. And we should see shortly, yep, there's that device, just as I added it. So there are multiple ways you can get devices added within WhatsUp Gold, either through the API or through the UI itself. And we should see, there's my scan I ran originally. It should be populating here shortly and saying my devices are ready to be monitored, and here they come. So there's a good reason why you would want to run discovery and not just straight up add it like I did to this device. You get a lot more out of your monitoring if you use credentials along the way. So I didn't specify any credentials. I didn't tell it to do discovery on this device. That's going to be just basic up-down monitoring. Whereas if you discover the device and you have credentials, you'll get a lot more monitored for you automatically, as well as automated topology maps. So if I switch on over to my map view, you see it automatically built out a topology map for me, which is nice. Even though I used the API, I was able to run that discovery and get the topology map built and have it associate my device templates. So as part of WhatsUp Gold's discovery, it's using these device templates to see what does it match, and then that also determines, well, what monitors should I add to this device, as well as which action policies and a slew of other options available to you to further customize what gets monitored within your environment. That said, I'm going to also cover what's built in direct out of the box. So you've seen the PowerShell module, which is cool, but obviously it's nice if it just works directly out of the box. And you'll see within WhatsUp Gold, if you go to Settings, Actions and Alerts, then Actions and Policies, you can create a new action and easily tie into ServiceNow, Opsgenie, If This Then That, Microsoft Teams, Slack, as well as launch your own PowerShell scripts or programs. So lots of things directly out of the box available to you, as well as the ability to kind of craft your own with PowerShell or programs that you kick off. Now, there are obviously many other integration possibilities from the monitoring perspective, as well as from the WhatsUp Gold REST API perspective, but I will leave it at that for now and encourage any questions that have come up along the way or any use cases you might have thought of while I was running through the demonstration. And I will turn it over to Brian to introduce himself and run through his demonstration of NetBox and how he integrated it with the WhatsUp Gold API.
Thank you, Jason, for the WhatsUp Gold PowerShell module demonstration. Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Phillips. I work for Progress Software. I am a senior sales engineer in the infra business unit. We focus on WhatsUp Gold, Loadmaster, Chef, and Flowmon. Today I'll be covering an integration between WhatsUp Gold and an IPAM solution. And I chose to leverage NetBox IPAM to do that with. And you may ask why. Well, let's take a step back. Why would you have IPAM? Well, it's a source of truth. So for your network, instead of maybe using spreadsheets, maybe writing IP addresses down, you would leverage a shared, amongst your network engineers, your IT department, you would leverage a source of truth that everyone could share. You could do your build, plan, and you could push everything to production. So this is what this is going to do for you today. Is your NetBox IPAM solution will help you derive that to the intent of what you want in your network, from hardware to interfaces to IP address management, which we will focus on mostly. Now, if you're using WhatsUp Gold or planning to use WhatsUp Gold, this is a great solution to leverage WhatsUp Gold with NetBox IPAM. And also your NetBox IPAM solution could also be integrated with many other subsystems, not just WhatsUp Gold, but we'll focus strictly on this interaction today. Our first use case, we're going to focus on, let's just say like a day one activity where you have WhatsUp Gold and you want to install NetBox IPAM solution. And I want to do a true up sync between the two. So today what we have is I already have in my network in WhatsUp Gold .36.35. And I've discovered these two devices. Maybe I didn't even know about these devices. Well, I want NetBox to know about these without having to manually input them. This is because I may have hundreds of devices I need to ingest, and I do not want to manually put those in. So that way, I have my day one operation done so I can start my planning processes. So here, you can do a sync using this plugin that I developed that's been integrated with this local NetBox. And while we're talking about that, I've got NetBox running on a server on a Docker container, as you can see below, and the plugin has been integrated with that. For more details on that, NetBox has released many videos and how-tos of different ways to do other plugin integration. This is just one way that I've done it. There are many ways you could do this. Also, if you're interested in using this plugin and adding more features to it, you're welcome to. Here it is on GitHub. There's some future talks about maybe even adding other API calls, maybe more tagging functionalities as we push devices into WhatsUp Gold, having it put into specific groups or maybe geo locations, all that kind of stuff. So those are some discussions that we've had here. The sync is done. Let's look at the devices. So let's look for it. So there's .35 and .36. It was just added into our devices. So we've done the trip. As you can see, it was pulled from because I had it in all devices dynamic group. Again, if it was in your group and your headquarters or data center, you would inherit that information. So that's the first use case. The next use case is probably what most people would be interested in, is steering everything from your source of truth and from your IPAM database. So let's just pretend that you have WhatsUp Gold, you have NetBox IPAM, and maybe you have some other network automation to also bootstrap some initial configuration, say on your Juniper Cisco switches and routers or whatever it may be. And I want to go and I'll steer everything from here. And for today's purposes, the logic here is as soon as I add a device, add an interface, an IP address, as soon as I make that device go finally active, it will automatically do an API call into WhatsUp Gold. So as you can see, I do not have, I'm going to add a .37 in my network. I'm going to pretend it's a switch. It's just a server, but I'm going to pretend it's a switch. And we're going to call it switch 1. I'm going to put it at my Acme headquarters. And again, for planning purposes, you can have already ordered your equipment and start adding your devices. And let me change this look at here so I can see a little better. Let's go to interfaces. And what we're going to do is we're going to add an interface. To the device. And I'm going to call it, let's just say ETH0. Create that. And again, as of yet, there has been nothing new added to it as far as now with the two-way sync. I do have duplicates put in here from the previous use case. That's something I will still need to work on. But for now, we're going to look at the second use case. So I've added switch 1. Now this is where the IPAM part comes into play. Before I get into that, if you've never used IPAM, again, this is just a very small sampling of an idea of how you could use it. There's several ways to plan. HR department, finance, the stormtroopers, all my point-to-point links and core loopback IP addresses. And this is a great place to store that and to manage all your IP address management. For now, I'm using this lab prefix, this 220 address. I'm going to go and add that IP space to it. I'm going to add, again, I've already pre-positioned this just for demo purposes. This 37 is not turned up. Let's just pretend it's not yet. We're getting ready to do that. So I'm going to add an IP address. I'm going to assign this to here, to the device, switch 1. And now we've fully planned and allocated our switch hardware and IP address management out of that prefix pool. So now let's go to devices. There's switch 1. And I'd already set it to active. So now that's set to active. You already see it coming in. There it is. So the API call has pushed the switch into it. Now it's down because I haven't turned up. So you sent your network guy out into the field to turn the switch up. He plugs the cable in. And there it is. It goes green. So that is the second use case. Let's quickly talk about again the repository. Again, like I mentioned, if you would like to explore this repository, it's not an end all be all, but it's a place to start. So for the NetBox-WUG Sync plugin to integrate with your NetBox IPAM solution. Thank you for your time.
All right, we're going to get right into the questions here, everyone. Thanks so much for your time and attention today. We actually got quite a few questions coming in throughout the webinar, so we'll just start with some of the easy ones. So someone asked, how do I get a WhatsUp Gold trial? Very easily, whatsupgold.com. There's links all over the website to go download that free trial. It is good for 30 days, and it gives you access to all of WhatsUp Gold's features and functions. All right, next we're going to get to a poll question. We do have a few poll questions today. The first poll question here is, what's your biggest challenge in network monitoring today? We'll go ahead and get that poll running and give everyone a little bit to respond to the question and just talk through some of these things. At least for me, it was always manual workflows. When I was a sysadmin, that was our biggest challenge, was those manual workflows, especially as it related to virtual machine provisioning, things like that. We want to make sure things were monitored right away. We ended up creating our own integration to get things kind of monitored immediately. All right, so we'll allow people to finish responses. Roughly 43% are saying manual workflows and 39% on alert fatigue. So pretty surprising results there, but obviously this is a good topic to be covering, right? And that's why we're talking about integration today. All right, we'll move on to the next question here. Is WhatsUp Gold available as a subscription or perpetual license? It's actually available as both. So you can get either a subscription or a perpetual license. But I will say the subscription license is, we've made it very, very attractive for customers. And on the Enterprise Plus, you can activate the software up to 4 times. You get access to NTA Plus as well as WhatsUp Gold 360 and a slew of other options that aren't available on the perpetual front at this point in time. All right, let's shift to our next poll question here. Which integration would add the most value for your team? ServiceNow, Microsoft Teams, Slack, or NetBox? For a lot of teams, I've been finding it's maybe not ServiceNow, but some sort of ITSM, like automatically generating tickets or handling tickets as issues arise and things along those lines. But we have seen a lot of requests recently from people asking, like, Microsoft Teams is the way to go. And with Microsoft building more automation and workflows possible within that product, I can understand why. All right, we'll give everyone a few more moments to wrap up some of the answers here. And our quick results as they stand at the moment, 58% say Microsoft Teams, 25% on ServiceNow, and another 13% on NetBox. Great, let's move on to the next question here, which is actually, does it integrate with ServiceNow or other ITSM platforms? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So you saw during the demonstration right within the interface that you can access ServiceNow. If it's some other platform, you can still integrate WhatsUp Gold with any other platform as well, so long as there's some sort of REST API endpoint. You can launch a PowerShell action or script, if you will, in order to connect to the endpoint and send along the data from WhatsUp Gold to that other ITSM. All right, finally, we got one more poll question here. Would you be interested in more webinars on automation and integrations? Simple one, yes or no. I'm gonna have to guess yes. We see a lot of attendees today and a lot of participation in the polls. And I'm glad that we found a topic that people are very interested in, and obviously interesting to us as well, right? The PowerShell module and Brian's NetBox Sync, it's passion projects. We're not really our day job 100%, but we love integrations, so that's what led us to it. So maybe no surprise, but 100% said yes, 0% said no. Okay, so I guess we know our next webinar topic here, team. And on to the next question. Can WhatsUp Gold scale to monitor thousands of devices? And the answer is yes, it absolutely can. So the largest licensing we offer right now is on our Enterprise Plus license, and that's up to 25,000 devices. But remember, with Enterprise Plus, you get multiple installations of the product. So in theory, can get to up to over 100,000 devices pretty easily. And I would argue we scale better than a vast majority of competitors, where they actually require more resources, more hardware, additional web instances and things along those lines, where WhatsUp Gold does not. We're very efficient and scale very well. All right, so we got some additional questions here. There's no more polls, so we'll just keep going through the questions here. Oh, this one is actually for you, Brian. With integration there for NetBox, other plans or other options for other IPAMs, specifically PHP IPAM. So any plans to tie in other IPAM systems to your syncing capability?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, I was just looking at that. Good question. As of today, this is just a solution that we're just doing some alpha code to look into, kind of research project to see how we could integrate with some IPAM systems. And since NetBox is an open source IPAM solution, that was kind of an easy entry point for us to research this. So as of today, there is nothing for us to look at PHP IPAM, but that's something we'd be glad to have a discussion with you offline between myself and Jason. So
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely reach out. I'm curious to learn more. All right, let's keep going here. Will there be any notification when and if this happens? I'm guessing this is referring to the NetBox syncing or adding devices to WhatsUp Gold via API. There are various different ways you can set this up from the WhatsUp Gold perspective. Brian, I'm not sure about from the NetBox perspective if there's any sort of way to
yeah,
notify, let's say,
yeah,
incoming.
I thought about that, and I'm not sure that I'm sure there would be, since it uses a Django front end. I'm sure there's a tie-in that you could create. And again, this is an open source plugin, so um, if everyone out in the community would love to contribute, it might be a feature that someone could add or we could look into later. So
Sounds great. All right, let's go on to the next one here. Can we create a group inside of another group in WhatsUp Gold? The answer is yes, you can nest groups, and a lot of people will nest groups to mirror things like data center structure and their virtualization manager, for example. So like data center at the top and then clusters underneath and then nodes underneath those clusters. But that's one of the things I've always loved about WhatsUp Gold is you can create as many of those groups as you want. So you could display the information in many different ways or report on only specific devices and things along those lines. So someone asked, did you say WhatsUp Gold 360 is part of the enterprise subscription? The answer is yes. If you have the enterprise subscription or the enterprise plus subscription, you do have access to WhatsUp Gold 360. If you need more information on how to actually obtain the access, it's typically in your order confirmation PDF. If you don't have that, just reach out to your sales representative and they can provide you with the activation code you need to get onboarded. Ooh, this is the long one. Are there some examples of email templates that are easier to read? Would like to see if an interface goes down. Just see a device name and interface that went down, and also description of the interface. Same goes for thresholds and others. So the answer is yes. Default out of the box absolutely does not work for every specific individual, obviously, but that's another thing I like about WhatsUp Gold so much is its customizability. It's so easy to go modify this and make your alerting scheme match what you expect to see, or let's say get rid of some of the things you don't expect to see within the email. But it's customizable to to the device, to the monitor. You can get very ultra specific with what information you do or do not show within your email alerts. Let's see. There are some more questions. We're almost out though. So is 9644 enabled by default or does the protocol need to be whitelisted? So the WhatsUp Gold API is enabled by default and it is on HTTPS at port 9644 by default. It automatically will add a Windows firewall rule to allow connections for that. You do have the option of changing that port, changing the certificate associated with that port and various other things if you have any security concerns there. Let's see, I think I got through all of them. Let's see. Oh, is there any plan to get other asset integrations such as Landsweeper and other products? Yeah, the answer is I would say yes. As we've proven today, there's a lot of interest in integrating our IT products together. And obviously that saves IT professionals time in the long run, having to maintain more than one system, right? Which is kind of the expectation of today. But I would say, yes, we do plan to keep investigating additional integrations and providing samples through webinars such as this. Next one. Where can I get more information on custom monitors? Example, only monitor and interface of a certain string of characters are in the description, like critical error, etc. So I think what you're looking for is actually the SNMP table monitor. That monitor allows you to get very specific with what determines up or down criteria, as well as when to consider discovering these, such as some of the parameters you just mentioned there. In terms of learning more, there are videos on our website, as well as if you head over to whatsupgold.com/training, you'll see there's a lot of free courses available, and some of those cover custom monitors as well. Oh, we do have some more questions coming in. I haven't got quite all of them yet. This one's for you, Brian. Question for IPAM integration. If I have a device in WUG and a NetBox, will it sync IPAM data between the two devices, or will it generate a new device in NetBox?
Yeah, so to answer your question, it will sync, but I do have a bug in it now where there's a duplicate that is being created. That's something I'm going to work on next to fix in the next week or two. But it will sync. It's a two-way sync. There's initial sync where NetBox will ingest what's in WhatsUp Gold, and then if you add a device, as we showed in the video, if you add a device from NetBox, and as soon as you make that device active with that IPv4 address, that's the flag to tell it to add to WhatsUp Gold. Thank you.
All right, and we have one final question, more of a statement, if you will. Someone says, we got a license, but we don't see the certificate monitoring in our dashboard. So there is no certificate dashboard by default out of the box today. We are planning a release in the future where there will be an out of the box dashboard alongside the certificate discovery and monitoring we do today. And keep your eyes peeled on our customer validation program for more information about that. Head on over to whatsupgold.com/CVP. Once you're a member of our customer validation program, you'll get a lot more information about what's coming in the future and what we're working on. Oh, some additional questions continue to come in. I'll keep going here. What are the parameters for matching that? Oh, someone's asking about, that's a follow-up to the question from earlier. I'll reach out to you after the webinar and we can chat more directly on that. Same for the follow-up question to you, Brian, that came in. We'll reach out separately after the webinar. Someone posts a community article for supporting TLS 1.2. This bug is not fixed, and we upgrade to 2025, and it's still required to be manual configuration. I'll need to investigate a bit further to understand exactly what you're looking at there, but what I can tell you is we have been putting out a lot of updates as of recent. We did just recently put out 25.01 just a couple weeks ago here, and there were some bugs fixed in that. If you're not already on the very latest update, I would suggest updating and then seeing if the issue is corrected. And if not, we can follow up with our tech support team in order to take a closer look at what might be going on there. All right, I think we finally done it. We got through all of the questions. Thanks so much for all the participation from everyone. We will wrap it up here, and we look forward to hosting another similar webinar in the future. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you all.